is International Plastic Bag Free Day. I know for Nigerians that might be a tall order to ask Nigerians to recycle, reuse, and reduce the use of plastic. It has somewhat become part of our daily lives, but we also know the dangers of this one-time use of plastic bags as it clogs up our waterways, and causes some of the environmental disasters that we face. Top of my head being the flood. We'll be discussing all of this and how Nigerians can get into reducing, reusing, and recycling.
I must commend you because when you say it, I try and play it in my head. The hours are too much.
Yes.
So to reduce, reuse, and recycle.
The plastic bags.
Those are words that Nigerians are not conversant with.
Well, we have to learn if we want our environment better. And to do this, we'll be joined by Oscar Danladi. He's the team lead, Jos Green Center, who will be reaching us via Skype all the way from Jos. Hello, Oscar Danladi. So good to hear your voice this morning.
Good morning. I'm always very excited to join you, and particularly this conversation. I think it's very critical for this season.
It's very critical.
It is critical. Okay, good. It is critical to reduce, reuse, and recycle. International Plastic Bag Free Day. That's one thing I love about this program. Days I never even knew exist. We have to create awareness for it. So when I saw International Plastic Bag Days, I'm like, new one. So, Danladi, what does this mean to the average Nigerian when we're talking about celebrating this day?
So I would say our life has become so plastic. Like,
isn't that a good thing?
Think about your everyday interaction with plastic. It's almost like we cannot exist without plastic. So for me, again, this day is a reminder that we need to be more responsible with how we use plastic. It looks very useful and very helpful for the everyday life, but then come to think of it, the implication, the impact has a more lasting devastation if it's not used responsibly.
Okay. So with this culture, over the years, it has become seemingly part of our lives. We get polythene bags, and afterwards we dispose these polythene bags very carelessly. But then again, I don't think the blame is completely on us. I mean, there are no alternatives to recycle bins. In some climes, you will see the recycle parks, a bin for just recycle. We'll see bins for disposable. I think that's it.
Disposable bags.
Disposable. We'll see the bio bin and several types of bins. But we don't have that yet in Nigeria, yet we expect Nigerians to just understand how to reuse. Some of them can't even be reused. So what would your suggestion be?
You're very right. The layers to the problem is such that we cannot just blame the citizens or the common man on the street. However, we cannot excuse the common man on the street. Because of the search for convenience and the search for, easy life, we easily find ourselves tempted to use plastics because you said there are no alternatives. I think there are alternatives. If you go for shopping and you take your shopping bag, or as we used to know, people would go with baskets, that's an alternative. We are not forced, we are not mandated to use plastic. But then it's for such of convenience, right? So,
yeah.
And like we've rightly mentioned, it has to begin with reduce. Gone are those days where we think it's about recycling first. But I think it's about thinking deliberately, how do I say no to plastics? So let it be that I have reduced the use of plastic. Then what I eventually have or I must use, we can then talk about the need for policies like policies to ensure that people pay for the plastic bag right to the point of recycling. We have even the whole conversation around extended producers' responsibility. Because that's one area that I think we're lacking as a country. The policy is there, but how do we hold those who produce plastics or produce things that have to go alongside with plastic responsible to the point where, they retrieve whatever waste that is eventually generated as a result of this product? So those are the kind of conversations for me I wish on a day like this we see government taking more responsibility to say, okay, those laws that are there, those policies that are there that are not being enforced, how do we ensure they are being enforced? And then secondly, how do we educate people, which is what we're doing now, to ensure that if you don't need plastic, don't use it. And for me, that's very important. A lot of times people use plastics because it's available, not because they need it.
The message is, like Joy said, reduce, reuse,
And recycle.
and recycle. If you can use a basket instead of a polythene bag, you should. Because whether we understand it or not in its entirety, it is important that we know that this plastic is harming the environment and we can't go on for too long. So we have to also be conscious in the amount of leather bags that we put inside leather bags in our kitchen, inside the leather bag. Do you have that?
Every Nigerian home has that leather bag.
That has all the leather bags.
No, the polythene bag rather, that has other polythene bags. It's not leather.
Why are you calling it polythene bags?
They are polythene bags.
We call them leather bags in the market.
My father would clean and would pinch himself if he hears me call polythene bags leather bags.
Anyway, have a free polythene bag day today. Use a basket or something else, and let's preserve our planet. And that's how we'll wrap up the segment this morning. But we must say thank you so much for spending your morning hour with us. I'm Ifunanya Yvonne Amafili.
And I'm Joy Asanya, as Ifunanya has said. Do your best to help our environment. It's for you, it's for me, it's for our children. Have a wonderful, productive